Hey, Dabes.
Hey, Maddie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
What is the uniqueness of playing a team for the third time in the playoffs in all your coaching years? I'm sure you don't enter the first round of the playoffs and think, hey, the team we're going to play against is going to be someone that we've already played twice this regular season.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we've played them here recently towards the end of the season in a short time frame. And obviously we're going to be matched up against them Saturday night. So there's some good familiarity with the players and the matchups and things like that. But, schemes change. Each game is its own game. And particularly against a team like this, that couldn't be more true.
Thanks.
You got it.
Hey, Brian. In regards to Devin, how much do you feel he's really benefited from getting more of the workload? And maybe if that's helped him get into more of a rhythm and in turn, the results have improved?
Yeah, I'm sure there's something to that. The more times you touch the ball as a skilled player, usually you're able to get into a little bit more of a rhythm. Again, there's one ball and, but we've used him as our primary back here the last few weeks, and he's, I'd say, taking advantage of his opportunities really in all facets, not just with the ball in his hand, but without it in his hand. So we're going to need him this week.
And then offensive line, with this current group of five that you guys have come across here at the back end here, seems to be playing pretty well. With them, how much do you think, how much do you think running the ball more helps them get into a rhythm and maybe get in a more physical, aspect of the game?
And I think there's balance in everything, John. The type of runs or, there's different protections you can use. I mean, there's a lot of different things to go ahead and try to help the offensive line out. We've run it more, and there's, I'd say, different situations throughout the game that that's what it called for. But we try to do the best we can. I mean, it's not like we have that many rushes here now. So we'll try to do the best we can with really all areas, run and pass.
Great, thanks a lot, man.
You got it.
Hey, Brian, Warrow here.
Hey, War.
Sticking with Devin, how much has he gained your confidence in how he's been able to run the ball over the past, 4.5 games in that sense? Aside from him gaining confidence, how much confidence has he gained from you?
Well, I think I've always had confidence in him since we drafted him. He's a young professional that does his job, and he's earned the amount of playing time and the touches that he's gotten based on his results. So I never lacked confidence in motor early on in his career, or as he kind of progressed and I'd say matured and gotten better each year he's been here. I just think he's earned this opportunity and he's done a good job with it.
And from an overall offensive perspective, are we seeing the signs of the offense? I mean, things change every season, and are we seeing the signs of the offense acquiring this season's identity down this stretch?
Yeah, well, we're going to always try to do what we think for that game. That'll never change. So, we're just going to try to do the best we can this game and put together a plan and try to go out there and execute.
Fair enough. Thanks, Brian.
You got it.
Coach Pat Freeman from The Beat, 105.5 out of Rochester. How you doing? Congratulations on winning the division.
Thanks, Pat. How are you?
I wanted to ask you a question. I've been noticing the last few weeks your big guys have been moving around a little bit. Is that by design in your running offense, or you starting to diversify that short game attack?
In what regard, Pat?
I've noticed that Deion Dawkins is trapping more, moving a lot more, and you're moving your guys around. Mitch Morris, who's excellent at pulling. I'm seeing some different types of runs there. Is that just things you've kept in there waiting to use them during the course of the season?
Yeah, no, we've used that. It's the running game is a lot like the passing game, Pat, is you try to attack, all areas of the defense. You just don't run outside or just don't run inside or, just run zone. We try to diversify our attack the way we need to. And that could change week to week.
My last question for you, Coach. How important has Daryl Williams been to you? You've asked him to go outside, inside. Do people understand how difficult that is in your preparation? There are different things you have to do. How important has he been for you this year?
Yeah, he's been an important piece for us. We've asked him to play both spots. And he's done it sometimes the night before the game where we're making a switch based on some of the changes we made relative to COVID and things like that. But he's been a true pro and handled his responsibilities, his job, the way you would expect.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Pat. Have a good day.
Hey, Brian, it's Jay with the Buffalo News. How you doing?
Good, Jay. How are you?
Good, thanks. I don't know if you caught Josh's answer yesterday when he was asked about Stefon and getting him to 100 catches. He kind of deadpanned. There was a financial incentive involved there, but it was a pretty good answer, and I thought it kind of shed some light into their relationship. How have you seen those two guys grow together as teammates in a couple of years here?
Yeah, I think the relationship is important, and I think they have one on and off the field. In order to build trust, you have to have good relationships, and once you gain that trust, you can gain some respect and accountability that goes along with that, give and take. And I think, they have trust with one another. They certainly have respect for one another. When you have trust and respect, I think you want to be accountable to the people that you're dealing with. And they've worked extremely hard, these last 2 years of, throwing and catching and talking during the meetings and being on the same page. And they'll continue to do that. But, for a short time, obviously, he's been a productive player here in the first couple of years on a new team. It's him along with all the other people that are surrounding him. But obviously, Josh plays an important piece to that, and as does Steph.
When you're scouting receivers in particular, draft, free agency, trade, you can do your research in terms of how they look physically and how that might pair with Josh. You can do your research on their football character, but you're never going to truly know until you get them into the building how that relationship is going to work. With Steph, what gave you confidence that it was going to be such a good pairing, and has it maybe even exceeded your expectations? I mean, these two guys have caught more passes together than anybody in history in 2 years.
Well, look, when you get new players on your team, whether it's by draft or free agency, I think it's important to, it's a clean slate for everybody. And then it's your job as a leader to develop a relationship with your new players. And just much like I talked about with Josh, I think, once you develop that relationship, that's when the trust falls into place. And, trust is important in our business, and that leads to respect, leads to accountability. And there's good give and take because you can have sincere and truthful conversations. I think when you respect somebody and you treat them the right way, that goes a long way. And he's done everything we've asked him to do. He's incredibly smart. He's obviously gifted. The old adage, the more you can do, the more you can do. And we certainly ask him to do a lot.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate your time.
You got it, Jay.
Hey, Brian. I was wondering, we only really ever see Mitchell Trubisky victory formation very end of games, but behind the scenes, I was just wondering, when you look back at this season, where have you maybe seen him grow the most?
In a lot of areas. First, he's a great person, and I think he contributes significantly to our room quarterback position. Obviously, he's played a lot of football in the early part of his career, and I think it takes a lot of maturity on his part to decide to come here and be a backup for Josh after the early part of the career and the things that he's done. He's acquitted himself really well. He understands our system. We put him in there. He knows what to do. I just think that having that presence around Josh is very helpful. But again, this is a guy who's a good player too. So it was a good addition for us. I think he's made strides in his game, both mentally and physically. Happy to have him.
Where have you seen some of those strides in his game?
Just the overall knowledge of our system, the way he operates out there at practice, the questions that he asks. He's done a good job with all those things. And I'd say leading the guys that he's been around, whether that's on the look team or when he's in the huddle.
Awesome. Thanks.
You got it.
Hey, Brian, hope you're doing well.
Hey, Elena, how are you?
Okay, thanks. This is a little bit of a to the side question, but I was curious, when you were working at Alabama, did you coach Trayvon Diggs much? I know he was switching to defense when you got there.
Yeah, no, he was on the defensive side of the ball, but I know he's obviously there was a connection there. When Steph came, I knew his younger brother, and good person.
Is there, with working, having, seen both of them, know that family, do you see a lot of similarities between the brothers, or when Steph came, or does Steph talk about his brother a lot?
Yeah, no, I think that I'd let you ask Steph that. I mean, I just, I was there a short time, and, I appreciated my time with T, and obviously I know Steph a lot more than I do T.
Yeah. Okay. And then on a completely different note, I was just curious for you, when we're watching those plays like Josh's touchdown yesterday to Steph in the first quarter, how it breaks down, and then they come up with this play that's, just awesome to watch. When you're watching that all happen, what is that like? And what is it to watch them do what they do and when they put together a play like that?
Yeah, it's encouraging. You're always going to have plays that you call that are on time and on schedule. And then there's loose plays too. And again, that's an element of Josh's game that we work on, and you got to let him be him. And all the skill guys and, the line, they know that there's a chance that he can move and, make some loose plays, but, trust him with the ball and the decisions that he has to make.
And then last one for me, Sean's mentioned this a bunch, and I think it's come up a lot that, Josh taking a step forward in terms of off the field stuff and being a leader. Is there anything that has stood out to you in just what you've seen? We talk a lot about on the field, but anything maybe in the locker room or what he's doing in meetings that have stood out to you?
Well, I think he's done a good job of, improving each year. He really understands. Look, we tailored this system specifically towards him. And we have all the trust and faith in him, and he's grown since he's been here as a rookie, in numerous areas, but, I think he does a great job in the community. He's a very smart player, can pick up a lot of things, good give and take, and really good with his teammates.
Thanks.
You got it.
Hey, Brian, good to see you.
Matt.
I know you mentioned your time in Alabama. I know it was a short time, and you have a busy week this week, but will you kind of peek in tonight amidst the work and kind of root on your old squad?
We're kind of behind schedule here, man. I know we played these guys for a couple of times. There's a lot of catching up to do, particularly on this short week. That's kind of where my focus is going to be.
I got you.
Yep.
Gabriel Davis, going into yesterday's game, he had 3 drops all season, and I know he was targeted a lot and had a lot of work. The stats were what they were. What went wrong for him yesterday, if anything, and how much, not necessarily related, but to potentially get Emmanuel back in the playoffs, how important will that be for your offense?
Yeah, as many guys as we can have, the better that are healthy and ready to contribute. As far as Gabe, I have all the confidence in Gabe. He's a good player for us.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Brian.
Yep, you got it.
Hey, Brian, Mike Catalana.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, I want to ask you about Leslie. You've been around this league. You've coached with him, probably against him, certainly. His name, like yours, comes up for these head coaching jobs. What is it about him? What can you, from your perspective, tell us about that guy, what he's done in this league, and maybe, even if it leads to opportunities or just what he's done with the Bills?
Yeah, so we've been together for 4 years. Just a great person, obviously an expert in his area on the defensive side of the ball. I'd say does a good job with the staff and the players. Just an easy guy to talk to and bounce ideas off of. Good listener, good coach.
And the spot he's in, like Sean made the point yesterday that, it's his defense and leading him at number one defense this year. He seems so, from our perspective, easygoing. You see him in meeting rooms, you see him around. That's who this guy is all the time?
Yeah. Yep. That's who he is.
It's worked for him. Okay. Thanks,
Yep.
Brian. Yep.
You got it.